Unfortunately, the light is, there's a breakdown of light, but still there might be some instability in the internet. So I request Gangli to stay out for a few minutes after the meeting is over. After the lecture and discussion is over. I just want to discuss what is happening at Murthal.
Good morning, P.Sathyamurthy.
Good morning. How are you?
Sathyamurthy ji, namaskar.
Good morning.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Morning. Good morning, Sathyamurthy.
Morning, Professor Sathyamurthy. Ashok here.
Yeah, Ashok, good morning. How are you?
Fine.
Where is the speaker of the day? Is he?
Sir,
Yeah?
I'm here.
Okay, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, I think your own slide was hiding you. Okay.
Morning, Suvankar.
Over to you, ma'am. Live has started.
Okay. So shall we start? Professor
Yes,
Grover?
Dr. Suvankar has also joined.
Okay, wonderful. So welcome to this morning's lecture. This is a web series on institution building and nurturing initiatives in independent India. This is the 13th lecture in this series. The first speaker, by the way, was Professor Sathyamurthy, and he's here today. The lecture is on the Jawaharlal Nehru Center by Director himself, President JNCASR, Professor Giridhar Kulkarni, and thank you, Professor Venugopal as well, Director NPL, for being with us. So without much delay, I would request Professor Grover to start with a few words to introduce the series.
So good morning all. On the occasion of the 13th lecture in our series, Institution Building and Nurture Initiatives, which shall describe the story of Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research by the President of JNCASR, Professor Giridhar Kulkarni, who has been associated with the founding of JNCASR by Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao ever since the inception of this national center in 1989. Our guest of honor today is Professor Achanta Venugopal, the Present Director of National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi. The NPL has the distinction of being amongst the first 5 national laboratories created by Dr. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar as the Director of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. And the NPL came into being in 1947, exactly 75 years ago. We have already listened to the story of CSIR from its inception to the present status from Dr. Girish Sahni, who has served as DG of CSIR from 2015 to 18. I am tempted to recall today the circumstances of the beginnings of JNCASR by Professor Rao in a broader context. Professor Rao had moved from IIT Kanpur to Indian Institute of Science in the mid-70s when Professor Satish Dhawan was the director of IISc. He nucleated the solid-state structural chemistry in the Material Science Center at IISc and succeeded Professor Dhawan as the director of IISc in 1984. He was appointed chair of the Scientific Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, in 1985. The discovery of high-temperature superconductors happened in September of 1986, and there were huge expectations from new high-TC superconductors, as one of them, namely YBCO, was found to superconduct above the boiling point of liquid air. Professor Rao had swung into action immediately, and he made available liberal support for the superconductivity research in India for all the young people, using his great influence on the then Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. I was one of the beneficiaries of the initiatives taken by Professor Rao, and all my research was supported through that high-TC fund in the beginning. As the birth centenary of Jawaharlal Nehru neared in 1989, Professor Rao got approved the creation of JNCASR to commemorate the birth centenary of Nehru. From 1989 to 1994, he served as the director of IISc as well as the founder-president of JNCASR. During those 5 years, he provided liberal support to all the active scientists in India to hold discussion meetings on behalf of JNCASR, where the scientists, students from India could discuss their science with the top scientists invited from abroad. Such a liberal initiative had not been tried in India earlier. Dr. Homi Bhabha had indeed done so in the initial years of TIFR, but the TIFR funds were not liberally made available to all other scientists in India to conduct the meetings of the kind that Professor Rao let go as the JNCASR came into being. JNCASR has thus enjoyed the goodwill of Indian scientific community ever since its inception. Professor Rao's example has been emulated by Professor Spenta Vaidya, the founder-director of International Center of Theoretical Sciences in Bangalore. Professor Rao, as a member of Council of Management of TIFR, had given unstinted support to Professor Vaidya to establish ICTS at Bangalore. So let me conclude here, and we go back to listening the story of JNCASR from its present president, Professor Giridhar Kulkarni. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Grover. We would now like Professor Satyajit Banerjee from IIT Kanpur to introduce the guest of honor, Professor Venugopal, Director NPL. Professor Satyajit Banerjee, please.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be invited here and to be talking to you all. Hello, Professor Kulkarni, Achanta, Grover. So I have been given the pleasurable task of introducing Professor Achanta Venugopal. I may refer to him as Gopal as he is known amongst his friends. I hope he won't mind it. So I'll just tell a few words about him. He has a distinguished career. And I first met him in 1994 in the graduate school of TIFR. We had both joined to do our PhD. He came after completing his MSc from Hyderabad University. And after joining TIFR, we became very close friends. We had a group of friends and we were very close. And one of the characteristic features of Achanta was that apart from being a great researcher, he was a very great personality also, always smiling. You will never find him in any situation in a downcast state, and he is always mild-mannered. And whatever be the difficult situation, you will always see that personality of him. And seeing him very closely, I have seen him encounter very difficult and complex situations, and he has come out with flying colors. He completed his PhD in the year 2000, working on exciton dynamics with Professor Vengurlekar, and he developed some very state-of-the-art experiments there in that lab. After completing his PhD, we both completed around the same time in 2000. And he went off to Japan, I went off to Israel. And there in Japan, he did some very good work on ultra-fast optical switches and microcavities. He returned to TIFR for a permanent position as a faculty in TIFR, Department of Condensed Matter Physics and Material Science in 2004. I too returned around the same time, and I joined IIT Kanpur, but we have been in touch. It has always been a pleasure to meet him up whenever I go to Bombay in summers and meet him. After returning to TIFR, he set up a state-of-the-art lab in TIFR studying light matter interactions using ultra-fast lasers applied to condensed matter systems to explore very fast dynamics, polaron dynamics, and other physical processes which have major implications also for quantum information technology. So he has been and continues to do some great work. Some of the current work includes study of exotic ways to explore polaron dynamics and the study of plasmon-mediated enhancements of optical properties of materials. With over 120 publications and H-index of 30, he stands tall amongst his peers. He has been the recipient of various awards and fellowships and serves on various committees. And apart from being an active researcher, I know he is a very active teacher also. He enjoys teaching. He has guided a number of students, postdocs, PhD students, postdocs, and undergraduates during his time at TIFR. And since 2021, he has taken the task of steering an institute of importance like the National Physical Laboratories, where he has taken up as the director. I am sure he will take NPL to great heights and he will do very well. And as they say, may the force be with him. So with that, I sort of conclude and I hand over it to Professor DharamVir and Madam. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Banerjee. Very nice introduction, very comprehensive. Thank you. Now I request Professor Venugopal to present his address. Professor Venugopal Achanta.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Satyajit. Hope you can hear me. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Satyajit, for the flattering introduction. I just want to give a for rest of the audience. I just want to say that he's a very close friend. So put some take it with a pinch of salt. What he said, I'm not that great. I wish I'm that great. Right. So I mean, I'd like to thank Professor Grover, Professor Kulkarni. It's an honor to be here to listen to his talk about the history of another great institute, JNCASR. Right? So today I thought I'll just briefly introduce NPL to the audience. So we are welcome to visitors. We just completed our 75 years. NPL is distinct in Indian academia for being the National Physical Laboratory, one of the, not one of the, it's the only physics laboratory in the CSIR family. And at the same time, it's designated as a National Metrology Institute of the country. It's like people know more about NIST than NPL in the country. So we are NIST equivalent in India, where we maintain the primary standards in the country. We set up and manage these things and disseminate these things. So because of which, like, so we also participate in the quality infrastructure with QCI, BIS, and other organizations, legal metrology, right? So we have the third challenge for NPL to perform is as the member of the CSIR family to address challenging industrial problems, whether it's for strategic needs or for industrial needs. So for this, our strong material science and environmental sciences programs are very important for the nation growth. And I'm thankful to Professor Grover for putting me in touch with this Delhi Science Cluster, which is known as the DRIVE, so which is focusing on local challenges. So the idea is to bring solutions to the local problems, whether it be pollution, whether it be traffic, how to manage the traffic, or water problems, or something like that. So at NPL, we have pioneered in plastic recycling. So that's one area where we are contributing to DRIVE to address the local plastic garbage issue. And the other one which we are involved deeply is with environmental monitoring, as well as finding solutions for local environmental problems. Right. So from the metrology point of view, we have just started the certification for particle counter or particle monitoring devices. And from basic research point of view, like, so we operate and manage these field stations. One is at high altitude station at Palampur, and one is in Antarctica, the Maitri station. So the SODAR is installed and being operated by NPL. So in addition to that, for the local challenges, our staff actually go to different households within the Delhi NCR region collect the fuel which they are using for cooking and other things. So they burn them and then find out what residues are coming out, to monitor and to map what kind of fuel consumption pollutants which are being released across Delhi NCR region. So this way, metrology is the science and art of precision measurement and making sure that we have the traceability with respect to the international community. The rest of the national metrology institutes, we participate in these intercomparisons and make sure that we have these calibration measurement standards for the country, which are comparable, if not among the best in the world. This is one area. Then the second thing is material science and environmental sciences for local challenges, as well as addressing various issues for the nation. And one important aspect, actually going forward with the help of our RC, for which Professor Grover is our chair. So we are making use of our strength in basic R&D to address these new challenges, new opportunities which came out from the new definitions of the 7 primary units, the SI units, the 7 of them, whether it's voltage or second or Kelvin, there are 7 of these units. So each of these units, the definitions are redefined in terms of the fundamental constants like Planck constants or Boltzmann constant or Avogadro number, so that the uncertainties, the theoretical uncertainties in these measurements are lowered to the ultimate limits. So this gives us, these new definitions have given us a new direction and challenges, opportunities to set up these things and be one among the best NMIs in the world, having these quantum metrology standards within the country. So our current focus is on that, and we are progressing towards that region, achieving these goals. Right. So with that, I would like to thank once again all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be here, and I look forward to the listen to Professor Kulkarni. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Venugopal. That was our, at least my own connection with NPL was somewhat diminishing over the years, but I'm very happy to have listened to you this morning. Very good update on NPL, and it's really heartening that you have joined the DRIVE initiative. Thank you again. Now I will invite Professor Shubhankar Chakravarti of INST, Institute of Nanoscience and Technology. Shubhankar.
I'm here.
Okay, right.
I'm here.
Thank you. Please proceed. Introduction to today's speaker, Professor Kulkarni.
Namaskar and very good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, especially Professor Grover, this opportunity. It's an honor for me to introduce Professor Kulkarni. It's a great moment for me, not only because of this fantastic opportunity to introduce such an eminent scientist, but also because of his long-term association with our institution. With his class-leading expertise in the field of nanoscience and technology, Professor Kulkarni has always encouraged and enriched us with his guidance from the very beginning of the establishment of Institute of Nanoscience and Technology. It is also great to see that our founder director, Professor Ganguly, is also around here today. Regarding Professor Kulkarni, honestly speaking, Professor Kulkarni doesn't need an introduction to the scientific community. He is an eminent solid-state chemist who had published around 350 research articles in various reputed journals. His H-index is 53, which is remarkably high in number. Professor Kulkarni had done his PhD from Indian Institute of Science under the supervision of Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao. Professor Kulkarni is associated scientifically with n numbers of national and international research institutions. To give a brief idea with my small understanding about his research, his activity has a concrete underlying theme which makes his contribution in the field of nanoscience and technology very unique. He had employed solid-state chemistry principle to nanomaterials. nanomaterial synthesis, which paved the way for the first time to the direct patterning by various lithographic tools. His group could demonstrate the functionality of this patterned material in prototype devices. So why it is so fascinating? Because this is a fine example of basic chemistry applied to high-end device research. It is needless to mention that he is the fellow of several academies that includes all three major academies in India: Indian National Academy of Science, Allahabad, Indian Academy of Science, Bangalore, and Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi. Not only scientifically, Professor Kulkarni had also strengthened our country with his non-academic duties. In addition to his outstanding research activities, he had long-term experience in science administration and policy making. He is currently the president of Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, one of the premier research institutions in the country under Ministry of Science and Technology. Before that, he was the director of Center of Nano and Soft Matter Science, which is another institution, another autonomous institution under DST. With this brief introduction, may I request Professor Kulkarni to kindly take over and present his lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chakraborty, for that very interesting introduction. And now I invite Professor Kulkarni to present his talk. Professor Kulkarni, you can please start.
Thank you. I'll just get organized sharing the slide and then I'll begin. Okay, the slide is visible, full screen?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Thank you. So thank you, Professor Chakraborty, for the very kind introduction. It was quite detailed. Am I clearly audible? Please confirm.
Yes.
So
yes.
I also thank the office bearers of SPSTI, Chandigarh chapters of NASI, INAS, and INSA for the kind invitation. And also, it's an honor to speak on this august platform with the Professor Venugopal Achanta, Director NPL, as the guest of honor, while Professor Sathyamurthy, my mentor, my friend, Professor Ashok Ganguly, they're all in the audience. In particular, I would like to thank Professor Arun Grover, who actually initiated me into this this lecture. He called me some time ago and he mentioned about this platform, institution building and nurturing initiatives in independent India, and said that you should speak on JNCASR. In fact, he's the one who suggested the title as well. And it sounded very appropriate. And so I just retained it and built the material around it, which I'll be presenting this morning. So I'll be speaking on, entire next 40 minutes or so is focused on JNC. I will not get into details of individual research fields and all that, but just give you a glimpse of the background of the institution, how it has come up in the last 30 years or so. JNC is one among the 16 scientific R&D institutions under Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So recently there has been a move actually to bring all these institutions together and convert them into university and all. That is still under development. But as of now, we are functioning as an autonomous institution by ourselves. And Professor Grover already gave a brief background. The institution was conceived to mark the birth centenary of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, our first PM. And this was a suggestion from the government circles that to mark the birth centenary, maybe a new institution should be established. And as Professor Grover mentioned, Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao was, he was involved in science policy matters. He was advising the government in various capacities. he actually took the opportunity and suggested that, recommended that an institution should be established. He also actually sort of defined the framework for the institution, that it should be established in close proximity to an already existing institution or university, so that it will be on a fast track from day one. The other thing is, he mentioned that it should practice higher education, particularly doing research on frontier areas of research. So you can see now the direction of JNC. So it is, it got shaped up based on these two principles. The closer institution is, of course, Indian Institute of Science. So we borrowed lots of policy matters, the guidelines and all from IISc. And also it is in proximity to RRI and many other institutions around. And that's how it had the opportunity to grow in a very nice, healthy environment. I'll just take the... Okay. So you can see the barren land. This was given by the Karnataka government, around 27 acres of land. And I'm talking about 30 years ago, 1989. And on this land, we have a lake. The way I'm sitting here, and backside there's a lake, actually, quite a huge lake. It collects water from all around the region. We are sitting in a valley, so to say, saddle point, relative to the neighborhood. And all the rainwater, all the waters from neighboring lakes actually pour into this bigger lake here. So JNC is situated, except for a road dividing the two campuses, JNC is situated adjacent to this lake. Of course, it is elevated by a meter or so. That's how we don't have day in, day out, we don't have water problem. But once in a while, we do face problem. Last November, in fact, we had lots of floods on the campus. So this was a piece of land given by the Karnataka government. And I think it was rather challenging for two reasons. One is, it was next to the lake and there were little water bodies. And also importantly, there were lots of grown-up trees. Professor Rao has one principle, not to cut any tree. There's nothing like a weed for him. Any tree, he will show affection on any type of tree. So, he was working with the famous architect, Charles Correa. And it came out that they have to build a campus not cutting a single tree. How you would do that? It's quite a challenge. And so actually, if you look at our present building now, it goes in a sort of a curvy linear way, because it's just going around the bigger trees. That's it. There's no other reason. And also it is done in such a way that our buildings and the corridors actually tend to penetrate into the greenery of the campus. And that's a wonderful idea, I think. So the initial pictures are here, and the campus got inaugurated in March 1995. The then Vice President of India, Dr. K.R. Narayanan, came for the occasion. You can see in the photograph the Vice President, Professor Rao, and Mrs. Narayanan. And I think the picture is covering here because of the participants. Yeah, I'm now able to see. Professor Ram Rao is there, and also Dr. Rajaramana is there. So with founder president Professor Rao, he had the founder chairman Dr. Rajaramana. So these were the pioneers in bringing up the institution to begin with. In fact, this became the main campus of JNCASR. JNCASR has actually grown out of this campus. Now we have a few campuses. Before I come to that point, I must mention the contributions from our past chairs of Council of Management and also past presidents. So Dr. Rajaramana, followed by, we had the guidance from Dr. P. Ramarao, and recently Professor Govardhan Mehta. I also overlapped with this council. I had a great opportunity to interact with Professor Mehta and sought his advice in terms of the centers matters. And now we have Professor V. Ramgopal Rao, who is chairing the Council of Management. And past presidents listed out here, Professor Krishnan, Professor M.R.S. Rao are also with us. Of course, Professor Rao is honorary president, and he's also doing his research as a Linus Pauling, the research professor. So we have the great ambience here with all these advisors with us. And my colleague, Professor K.S. Narayan, filled the gap. He was officiating for quite some time in the gaps, which intervening periods. And this is actually the management structure of now and also of the recent past. And I must mention that as a young faculty, when I joined here way back in 1995, I had the opportunity to interact with many of these experts listed out here, many more actually. And they must have contributed to the growth of the sector. Professor Raddam Narasimha in Engineering Sciences Unit, related sciences, and Professor K.S. Wadia related to geology, geodynamics, Professor Sharat Chandra related to genetics, and Professor N.K. Chandrasekhar, very unique areas related to evolutionary biology, and then chronobiology and all. And Professor G. Padmanabhan, molecular biology, Madhav Gadgil, ecology, Professor H. Chandrasekhar related to chemical sciences, of course, Professor T.V.Ramakrishnan, condensed matter, Professor Ajay Sood, the list goes on actually. So all these eminent people, we used to be around, come in, go out, and also we had a great opportunity to interact with these great minds. And I think it must have contributed to the academic activities and also the scientific administration in the center. As today, if you enter the center, you get to see a stone welcoming you. I too have worshipped in the shrine of science. This is a statement by Pandit Nehru in one of his books, Discovery of India. And so that actually speaks of the humbleness with which the science is practiced on the campus. So this is a present campus, very recent photographs. You can see these excellent corridors here. These corridors are actually dialoguing with the greenery around. And so as one walks around these, you are almost interacting with, in a three-dimensional way, with the greenery and the plants around. Actually, it sets a very different ambience and mood for the science practitioners. And next to it is the Pauling building on the other side, which is now a biology block. Linus Pauling, Professor Rao always considered Pauling as his guru. And he named this building as, this is one of the old buildings. So he called it as a Pauling building. And this buckyball must have been his idea only. I don't think architect thought about it. These were the initial days of the buckyball, C60 molecule. And so you can see the dome is covered by, these are the individual points of carbon atoms here. So you can say half the buckyball is sitting there. So it also is coinciding with the transition to practicing nanoscience and all. In fact, Fullerene became a flagship related to nanoscience practice. So you can see many, a lot of convergence happening here in terms of multidisciplinarity of science being practiced. And if you see, look up, actually, there is no picture of this actual sky on top. So it's a huge dome and on which the half buckyball is decorating. So this is how the older part of campus look like. And as I mentioned, we have expanded out of the main campus at Jakkur area of Bangalore. There are a few residential campuses that are shown here. Some are in proximity, some are a little far away. And the map is not too clear, but let me guide you. This is the main campus. If you're able to see, I'll convert the pointer to slightly better option, laser pointer. Yeah. So this is the main campus. And if you travel a few kilometers away, you come across another campus called Chamundi campus. It's around 10 acres. There is an innovation center built up there, but there's more expansion awaited. And if you travel another 25 kilometers, you come across what is called Arkavati campus. Here is only just a 1 acre piece of land, which the JNCASR is sharing with another institution under DST, Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences. There is a synergy there. Here, where actually JNC is building an innovation and development center. That's almost finished now. And so some of these facilities will be sharing between the two institutions. And so the JNC is now operating from all these campuses. It also has little residential campuses where our students and faculty members and staff are accommodated. Yeah, these are some newer parts of campus. You can see the same philosophy, the same design principle is carried over to, spread over to whatever the campuses we build, the extent of campus. The curved corridors interacting with the garden, and see these kind of, jetting out kind of sunlight can penetrate into the lobby, foyer, and all that. So this is the design principle of JNC. I think Professor Rao believes that simply building a multi-story building with lots of office space is not going to generate scientific ideas. He would rather say that you have to have the appropriate area to do the experiments and little office spaces. But much happens in a semi-formal way when people walk out and dialogue with each other. So there are a lot of such areas created, informal areas created, where you can see students and faculty in groups and friends sitting together, chatting, talking about the research and exchanging ideas. I think that has played a great role in whatever science we are doing. And JNC, in fact, celebrated its silver jubilee some time ago, 2015. And we had the privilege of Shri Muhammad Hamid Ansari, the then Vice President of India, coming over for the celebration. You can see some photographs here. He participated. It was a year-long activity where lots of academic as well as outreach activities were hosted. And we have not stopped, coming up with new infrastructure. There is a new unit coming up, which has come up, and this is a neuroscience unit which was inaugurated quite relatively recently by Dr. Harshvardhan, who was then Indian Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences. And there are some more such photographs. This is just unveiling of the foundation stone of Innovation and Development Center. I just mentioned to you that in our Kavati campus, adjacent to SENSE, another institution, we are building this Innovation and Development Center. It's almost in the finished stage now. From August to now, we have made a great progress in terms of the construction, and probably in the next 3-4 months, the whole structure will be done. And this was inaugurated, the foundation unveiling was done by the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu, in August 2021. Going further, we have the unveiling of the foundation stone done for Samath building. I must mention, in the center, there are two sort of virtual or semi-formal schools. Samath stands for actually School for Advanced Materials. And so under this, I think there are more than 25 faculty colleagues coming together, interacting, and they host activities, they host school, they conduct workshops and all. They are from different sort of say departments or sections, but under this virtual school, they come together. There is also a similar school for biological sciences. So Professor Rao, with his own savings and all, has enormously contributed to the construction of this building. And we're glad that our DST Secretary, Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, visited us. And on 4th March, very recently, he unveiled the foundation stone. The construction work should be starting in a month's time now. So this is about creating the laboratory spaces and office spaces and all that. And as far as the faculty strength and strength of academic staff and all concerned, we have on roll 45 faculty members. And you can see the induction of faculty members since the birth of the institution. It was rather at a regular pace till around 2018 or so, then it actually got declined. And this is because of the change in policies, in whatever government has come up with, like how to recruit faculty, how to seek positions. I think there have been some change in administrative matters, and that impacted us. And in fact, we have not been able to induct new faculty. We have just taken up a process of filling up some vacancies, and that should bring in around 4 or 5 new faculty members. And it's very important that as people retire, superannuate, and go away or migrate, we fill in new members. At the same time, for the new areas which come up, we need to recruit more and more people. So we have already placed this request with the department and ministry, and hopefully we'll have some progress in the coming months and years. We have honorary faculty, 9 of them, and some of them are actually practicing their research on campus. And we have a total student strength of 340, and many of them are doing PhDs, some of them are doing masters. And we also have research associates, R&D assistants, and visiting faculty, visiting students, totaling around 100 at any given point of time. And we have technical staff supporting us around 40. Similarly, the strength of administrative staff. Okay, so that's the overall strength on campus. But of course, we have to outsource certain tasks and services to outsourcing agencies. And so you get to see more number of people on campus, but they're all coming from various agencies. Importantly, we are not just an R&D institution. We are also deemed to be university. This was granted to us way back in 2002. So since last 20 years, we have been awarding our own degrees. In the initial years, we were associated with what is known as MAHE, Manipal Higher Education, Society for Higher Education or something like that, MAHE. And that's also a great place actually. So I was adjunct faculty there, and so I've known the place in person. And so we were associated with that. But since 2002, we have been awarding our own degrees as deemed to be university. So that's one of the great achievements of JNC. And in fact, among the DST institutions, this was the only university. Very recently, the IACS in Calcutta also became the deemed to be university. So 2 institutions under DST are now awarding degrees. Another important point I want to mention is JNC is among the Gati institution, one of the Gati institutions. So Gati is related to, is actually a project under DST. I was told that there are 30 such institutions in India who have signed up for this. So through this, we, as an institution, we get some orientation how to observe gender equality, gender advancement. Gati stands for Gender Advancement of Transforming Institutions. So we are taking a very active role in Gati as well. Earlier, I mentioned that the way our founder president, Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao, thought about was we should not be too big, we should be just small to moderate, and we shouldn't have, really confined, hard-cut departments. Rather, we must have small units in which a handful of faculty members work, and they get to interact with faculty members from other units. So you see very unusual names of units here. We don't have department, but we have units. And you can see CPMU, Chemistry and Physics of Materials. This was the first unit which was born, 1995. And this was actually going with, it was a bit out of fashion those days. But you can see materials were just an upcoming field that time. Professor Gohar mentioned about high-TC superconductors, sort of a chemical compound, which is also of interest to physicists, becoming a material which finds applications. So these were the transforming years, and Professor Rao had the vision of bringing up such a unit where chemistry and physics related to materials is being practiced. And we have theoretical sciences unit. I must mention that 1/4 of our faculty members do theory, not just in TSU, and there are faculty members in EMU as well, who do theory. EMU is related to engineering mechanics unit where engineering sciences are practiced. And this is again a very unusual name. New chemistry. And Professor Rao argues like there is Old Testament. Is there anything like New Testament? So you can always create something new the way you like it. So NCU stands for new chemistry. So they are embarking on very new areas which are emerging in chemical sciences. And we have MBGU, Molecular Biology and Genetics unit, where mostly disease biology is practiced. And we have this relatively new unit which has come up in the last few years, Neurosciences unit. And we also have EIBU, this is Evolutionary and Integrative Biology. So these are the important units. We also have one more unit, Geodynamics, where there is some activity, but we need to actually augment the activities. So whatever we do, there's a lot of emphasis given for, is there a possibility to translate our inventions into technology, something useful for the society, industry and society. So there are some unique aspects of JNC. It's not a regular institution. I must tell you, I have grown with it. I have practiced science here. I must tell you that there is very strong interaction between theory and experimental practitioners here. And that's also because we have mostly around us the garden, and we get to see them during tea, coffee, afternoon breaks, evening breaks, and all that. And we get visitors, who is around interacting with everyone. They bridge us actually. So that's how a strong interaction is regularly built up between theory and theoreticians and experimentalists. And this happens across the disciplines, biological science, physical science, chemical sciences, so on. And then we have very strong interaction with industry and national labs. And this is where interaction with other institutions also comes into play. So we have friends located in various places. Actually, they send out experts to our campus. Similarly, we also reciprocate sending out our visitors, industry visitors and all to their campus. So the strong interaction gets built up with industry and also with various national labs. I already mentioned about the deemed to be university. So we have a strong educational component. Though we do much freelance kind of a science, but more and more it is getting to be application oriented. More and more it's going to be more and more mission oriented type of research, connecting with applications, industry, technology development. Nonetheless, we will not forget our roots, that we also have to impart higher education to PhD students. So there's a very strong educational component in whatever we do. And I must mention a great deal about scientific outreach activities, very unique to JNC. I'll have a couple of slides as I go on. And we are ranked very high, quite high in practicing whatever science we are practicing. I will have a couple of slides on this as well. Someone should kindly alert me maybe at the end of 40 minutes or so, please. Okay, activities of JNCASR. So I can divide them into 4 categories: education, research and technology development, and outreach programs, and conducting various types of events, scientific engagements and networking programs. Academic programs, we are awarding our own degrees in various disciplines as listed out here: chemistry, physics, biology, engineering, and materials. Materials sort of stands out from chemistry and physics. This is how we respect the materials area. We don't really merge it with the one branch of chemistry or physics. It has its own personality. This is not true of many places. Materials is actually taken under either physics or chemistry. So here it's a separate personality. And we award our own master's degrees, MS Engineering and MS Research. We also have a relatively new program, MS in Chemistry, with various possible specializations, as you can see here, including energy, for example. And we have many integrated PhD streams: physical sciences, chemical sciences, and biological sciences. In fact, we started with chemical sciences, and then we introduced material science. Somehow it got converted recently to physical sciences. But of course, we have parallelly biological sciences also being carried out. So far, since becoming deemed to be university in 2002, we have awarded our more than 421 degrees, PhD degrees, and around 285 degrees, master's degrees. So that talks about our educational activities being deemed to be university. Having said so, I mean, it goes with what kind of hostels and other amenities we establish. So you can see here a beautiful hostel area, students playing around and all. So all such amenities exist on campus. Coming to the areas being practiced, I can broadly divide. I may not have time to go into details of every section, every unit and all. I'll just try to summarize. Under 2 streams, one is about biological science. That's what is being, put together in this slide. So we look at small length scales and time scales. These are all molecular, cellular, sub-organismal kind of science. And as I mentioned, you can see here, most of them are all disease-related aspects. And there's also an activity on blood vessels and stem cells, autophagy, and all. This is a recent area being pursued. And this is the kind of biological area practiced. And we have now a new activity in neurosciences. And we have 2 core faculty members and many associated faculty members doing neuroscience. And I must mention that responding to the COVID-related call in the country, we set out a training center here, training medicos, and also recently we have been part of this INSA-COG, genome sequencing program. So JNC is taking part in that. As we do biology and as we do chemistry in the neighborhood, of course, an interface is natural. So we have a lot of interface between biological, whatever we are practicing, along with the chemical areas. So all these new areas have come up. They're very vibrant activity going on. And also I must mention that important technology transfer activities going on in these areas, related to Alzheimer's disease, drugs and all that. So, we can see that on our websites, and we will be having a very important event coming up now in the next 2 weeks, doing a technology transfer related to, these diseases, the drug formula transfer. And then we have quite a, active program on organizable evolutionary sciences, biological sciences. And though we have very few faculty members in this unit, but this is a very vibrant program. In fact, they ought to go out to the field. They also carry out in-house, within the lab experiments and study. And this is something we need to actually enrich as we move forward. And coming to the other main discipline that is related to materials, we have, the areas are listed out here. Very many areas. I'm sure Professor Sathyamurthy, Professor Gover, and Professor Aggarwal may appreciate this year. I'm not too sure about the rest of the participants who are all practitioners of these areas. So almost all frontier areas are listed out here. In fact, there are one or two practicing groups in each of these areas. And in hard materials, in soft materials, theory, experiments, and setting out, catalyst beds and trying out reactions, making energy devices, so on and so forth. All these areas are being practiced. So, but I don't have time to get into individual details. We also have a nice fabrication lab, and we have molecular beam epitaxy lab, and so on and so forth. All this is possible. All this kind of activity is possible if only we can establish very sophisticated state-of-the-art scientific instrumentation. And that is true of JNC, particularly for the reason that how our founder, Professor Rao, actually saw the necessity of establishing certain important tools to carry out day in, day out activities. And how he carefully nurtured, not only in terms of bringing in the funds, defending for funds and establishing these facilities, and also taking care of them over a number of years. In fact, our transmission electron microscope, which was working since 1994, before I joined, it just failed a couple of months ago. So you can see that it was serving such a long time. So all these scientific tools are very important. And I must mention that administrative structure is being so supportive that we are actually able to meaningfully spend the funds given to us from the government and establish this. In many institutions, I see this as a limitation actually. And here we have been able to sail through smoothly because the internal structure and all what was conceived of, what was brought in, has been so robust and helpful to the researchers that in a given frame of time, we are able to establish very sophisticated facilities to carry out our own research. Yeah, these are the publications. I'm not going to take you through great many details, but you can see here around 6.6 per faculty every year. I'm talking from the numbers from 2021. This is just after the COVID first wave. So you can see our people have been active virtually, online, whatever means possible. People ended up writing manuscripts and sending, analyzing data and all that. And this is the typical number even every year. We actually do around 350 publications every year, which means that on any day of the year, there's a publication coming out from JNCASR, I can say so. And the impact factor is also around 6. National average, if I know correctly, it's of the order of 3.54 in the higher educational established institutions. And so this is quite a decent number, I would think. And look at the kind of journals. They're all very reputed journals, international journals. People have been publishing from the center. And it's very important to mention that I have already mentioned what role the greenery plays. You can see here, such a beautiful scenario all around. In fact, till I get out of the campus to go out for shopping or some other meeting somewhere else, I realize the traffic. I just don't know that it is actually summer or something. So hot outside, so polluted. But otherwise, the campus remains pristine and very nice, as shown in these pictures. These are very recent pictures. And in terms of the translational activity, we give lots of emphasis for that. Each faculty member watches in his own group or her group that is there anything worth taking the invention forward, in terms of patenting within the country, and trying to find industry partner who could sponsor international patenting or technology transfer, signing up of MOUs, NDAs. All these are very robust activities. We have Dean's office, R&D office, very, very busy doing all this. And in fact, JNC, such a tiny institution, but got an award in this IPO, that IP-related national award, and also this Clarivate Analytics India Innovation Award also it's achieved some time ago. That's about our IP activity. And going with it, as I mentioned, we are very keen to interact with industry. You can see here a number of names you come across in the commercial world, right? So these are from different product activity, and we tie up with them, we transfer our technology. We also take problem statements from them, what kind of problems they face in the industry, and trying to solve them in-house, okay? So such projects are also ongoing in the center. So this is about the industry interaction. And I'm proud to tell you that there have been many startups out of the JNC system. We actually have an incubation facility here, and it has to grow further. But in the meanwhile, we have sort of encouraged a couple of startups to stem out from the campus, and they are listed out here. Sankhya Sutra has been extremely productive, fruitful activity. And in fact, Reliance Limited has taken over this particular startup. I cannot really talk on the technical aspect of it, but it has been a major technology transfer from our colleagues in engineering sciences unit. And this is about developing molecular diagnostic tools. This is also startup. And Breathe is something which looks at how to take these carbon dioxide kind of species and convert them to useful methanol and all that. So making catalysts on large scales, and they in fact even participated in international X Prize competition and won a huge prize. I think they could go up to semi-final also. And then we have an activity looking at the quality of solar cells, solar panels, big panels, how to screen them, in what aspect they're doing good or bad. This is a startup which is looking at that. And oxygen is a relatively recent sprung out activity. This is related to, actually, for the COVID call, trying to make an affordable oxygen generator. We can cater to a couple of beds in a village setting. So very affordable system is what the inventors claim, and they have set up a startup. So this is all about the startup sprung out of campus. And is also an important activity by my colleague related to agriculture. And these are, they make nanomaterials loaded with pheromones. This was done in collaboration with the CSIR lab and also with Agricultural University here. And the pheromone release is controlled, and pheromones are expansive. So when they are dispersed in inexpensive nanomaterials, the release is very, very controlled, by which actually they can afford spreading out these pheromones across larger hectares of land and in controlling the insects, invasion by insects, and that's how the crops. So this is a success story, and it has already reached to many companies. They are selling out to farmers. This is also a good example of technology transfer. And another colleague of mine in engineering sciences unit has taken up a project with Bangalore International Airport. Bangalore doesn't have much of this fog-related problem, but nonetheless, it does get into during midwinter times. And the problem, solution what they are seeking, it need not just apply to Bangalore Airport. It can be taken to other airports as well. So if our colleagues are successful, I think they are already hinting that they are successful. If this is deployed, it would be predicting, the system would be predicting the fog coming forth in several hours ahead. Okay, so you can plan, airports can plan, aeroplanes taking off from some other areas and all that. They can actually plan well ahead of time. So I was given to understanding that this is progressing well. And I must spend just a couple of minutes, if time permits. That is, we have a very vibrant summer research activity. It is not about just trying to coach master students who will immediately get into PhD or something. No, we actually focus on students at different levels. We have student buddy programs, right? They are just after their 10th or 11th, around that time. And they just come for a few days, walk around, get associated. We also have visiting fellowship programs for young faculty members from other institutions, other universities. We have recently started this graduate research internship program wherein BE, BTechs and all, particularly those students can come and carry out long projects, 6 months, 9 months project. And we actually end up signing their project work or thesis. And then we have these ongoing programs, project-oriented chemical education, project-oriented biological educations. For this, actually, students come from their first year of the degree in breaks. They go on coming. The same set of students revisit in their second and third year. Finally, they secure a sort of a certificate at the end of this program. And we have the regular summer research fellowship program also being given. This kind of program is offered by many universities and institutions in the country. And we also have such programs. And this is through our Dean FND activity. But I must also mention that working with the Dean FND, we have this education technology on it. This is a very unique concept by Professor Rao and Mrs. Rao. That is, there are things to invent even in education, how to impart education to young minds. So this unit actually focuses on that. And in fact, Professor Rao has been generous enough to, kind enough to give us lots of funds, with which CNR Hall of Science also has come up. And together they carry out lots of activities. You look at these numbers, number of students visited. I must remind you that it's all during COVID time. So you can see they just continued their activity doing online, and where possible in the recent time, they have been also conducting some in-person visits and meetings and all that, workshops and all for students. And they bring out regularly kits for students and teachers. And in fact, Professor Rao and Mrs. Rao brought out this book on founders of modern science in India. So it covers all prominent figures. Actually, it's very touchy if you read that, how under very difficult conditions these scientists carried out their works. It has been brought out excellent, and it should be appealing to all the young minds. And I'll just show you a glimpse of the activities. There's a lot of activity happening there, and they bring out CD-ROMs and books also. In the past, they have brought out many such literature material for young students. They also carry out flagship programs. This in the Himalayan region, in the remote regions of Karnataka, you can see a lot of such activities. In fact, a couple of my colleagues now are traveling. I think they should start the travel tomorrow. They'll be away for 5-6 days. They'll be participating in this workshop at Gangoli Hat, sponsored through this CNR Hall of Science. So such is the outreach activity from Professor Rao. You can see these red dots in the Indian map here. These are the events where the events have been led by Professor Rao, outreach activities across the Indian context. You can see here, right? A lot of such activities have taken place. And I think they did something even outside of India. I'm not too clear about it, but certainly these red spots represent the outreach activities within India. And you see, every time when Professor Rao speaks, this is in J.N. Tata Auditorium of IISc. I was actually one of the proud conveners, and I was participating from SENS, JNCASR, and IISc came together to celebrate this International Year of Chemistry. And Professor Rao is giving a talk, and all the students are organized themselves in the form of periodic table. Okay, you can see the color variations, what they're wearing, and all that. So that was representing sort of elements in the periodic table to create more awareness what has gone into in terms of research and scientific activity to come up with a modern periodic table. And Professor Rao enthusing students with his talks. And there are very many such occasions you can see here. They're all from different dates, different years and all. So just a collage of such events. Very vibrant outreach activity at JNCASR. And I'm proud as president of JNCASR, and also I have the privilege of inaugurating this unique thing. This is a glorious journey, galleries 1 and 2, hosting Professor Rao's collections. All of us know that Professor Rao, over the years, over the decades, he's very accomplished. He's been awarded various prizes and medals and honors and all that. So all those collections are displayed here in this hall, and so one can take a tour around. It is not just this. There are a couple of sections there. One can go around and look at the photographs of the past events and models of the medals and various artifacts and even the actual prizes and all that. One can visualize that. And recently, actually, they are bringing up a virtual tour to host. So it gives a little description of each one of them, and also Professor Rao's life around it. Going with that, they'll be coming up with a virtual tour around in the coming months. And then there's an important activity happening just in the neighborhood there. That is the Chemical Expo, Chemical Heritage Exposition, which was opened in 2020. A bunch of students came from a village and inaugurated that. And I was witnessing it actually as such a pleasant thing that this has opened up. And it so happened that yesterday, a little coffee counter, coffee place got opened just next to it in the garden. And Professor Rao and Mrs. Rao invited me as well, me and my wife, and went and participated. And we actually decided to take a walk around this. And along with him, we took a walk and saw. This chemical exposition actually is about chemistry. Okay, all aspects of chemistry. I think every aspect of chemistry is covered here. I was carefully looking at, is there anything left out? In fact, I even asked Professor Rao, is there anything left out? He said, not to my mind. So such carefully it has been done. It contains demonstrative kits, posters, interactive thing with a very nice ambience there inside. So it looks like a great natural history museum, but this exists on JNC campus, thanks to Professor. This is now open. And so one can be approaching us. We'll direct you how to come to the campus and actually take a tour here. How I am doing with respect to time, can somebody please tell me? I think I started at 11:25.
No, you can take
You
Yeah.
please go on.
No, your
Okay.
lecture is really very interesting. Please carry on.
Please carry on.
Thank
Go
you.
on, go on.
Yeah, I shouldn't be taking more than 10 minutes. I think.
Yeah,
5,
go
7
on.
Please go ahead. Don't worry about 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And so if you like seeing photographs, they're all here, lots of photographs. And this is an interesting thing where Professor Rao himself is doing an experiment for students. And something I think was bursting open, and it had a little, I think, hydrogen or some explosive or something. So he had to come out in the open and carry out the experiment. But so courageous, doing in front of the students and actually demonstrating how chemistry works. And these are very eminent people in the middle photograph that you see here. Whoever visits the campus, apart from, they may be from Cambridge or California, doesn't matter, or Australia, Japan, doesn't matter. Apart from interacting with us in terms of exchanging scientific ideas, participating in conferences, giving talks, he also makes sure that they visit the outreach activities, So this is one of such activities where one among them is giving a lecture, and some of these eminent people are sitting on the stairs here, right? Joined by the young students. So this is the type of outreach activities we carry out. And see, at any given point of number, our conference halls can get filled up like this. This is the capacity of 150. And now we have big auditorium. The other day, I witnessed around 250 students coming in. So I think it was National Science Day. So we conduct, though our center is small, the outreach activities are huge. So some of these photographs speak for themselves. Our Dean, Professor Shri, is interacting with students here. And here, Professor Narasimha joined by other eminent people. So this is one of the events, release of a book and CD-ROM by Professor Rao and Mrs. Rao. Professor Emeritus Rao is also there. And as I mentioned, many eminent people have visited, keep visiting our center. We take every opportunity to grab them, to invite them to the campus, even if they are visiting IISc or somewhere, some part of India. And also some of them directly come to our events. So this is one example where Professor Alan Heeger, Nobel laureate, molecular electronics. So he giving this lecture, and lecture by Dr. Ahmed Zeval, another Nobel laureate. And we have our dear, the then President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, visiting us. So such very many eminent people have crossed the JNC campus, and we are actually very proud. We rather get to interact with such very eminent people. So that's very hard. And going with all this, we must be having some awards, you can guess that. So institutional rankings. So here you can see over the years, I think these ranking systems also started relatively recently, a few years ago. As you can see here, 2017 NIRF ranking in India, 4th among universities and 11th in overall category. And 2018 special mention, 2021, 19th under research category. Now they have made a research university category. So we come under that, and we are 19. In fact, we could be doing better, just that we don't have yet a mechanism of hosting international students on campus. So if we open up that, I think we have done it now, but we should really advertise that. We should get many more students, irrespective of their origin, to take degrees with us. And then this ranking may improve. This is one of the parameters, I guess. And Nature Index is a global parameter. You can see 7th among the top 10 young graduate universities 2019, 17th among the top 50 young universities in chemistry. One or the other, we get the recognition. 23rd among 50 rising institutions in material science. These are all global numbers. And one more dot I could have added, but is not available for public information yet. Only after 25th April it will become available. I shall not tell you from where, but very important ranking system. Among 20,000 universities globally, our position is around 900 or so. So we come in the first 1,000 universities globally among around 20,000 places. So I think that's also quite creditable. And in terms of NAC, we are an university. So we secured 3.76 in 2017. We need to be monitoring this number this year and in the coming years. And you can also guess that our faculty and students actually attract lots of prizes and medals and recognitions. And I will not get into what Professor Rao has received over the years. I just want to mention that he was awarded the International Emmy Award in 2020. This event took place last October, that is October 2021. event was held in a hybrid mode, I think. It was held in the Quirinal Palace in Rome, Italy. And this award was given away by the President of the Italian Republic, such a very prestigious award. And going by everything, it is actually a Nobel Prize in energy research. Even Wikipedia writes about it. So I think he's the first Asian to receive that international ENI award. And it so happened that whatever the money component got bank transferred, but the gold medal had to come through courier. And when it came down by courier in the evening, I received it here around 6 o'clock, and I had to reach out to Professor Rao to hand over. Then it struck me that in some occasion I had a dialogue with our Honorable Chief Minister that Professor Rao has received all this, and when the gold medal actually arrives, I will call you. If possible, please drop in to hand over the medal to Professor Rao. And it was very kind of him, Mr. Bommai. He came around the very next morning, 11 o'clock, and we had a small function. This is the gold medal being handed over to Professor Rao. This is the ENI award from President of the Italian Republic. So likewise, we have many, many illustrative celebrity stories. We have on campus many Bhatnagaris. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award is 8 of them, and Padma Shri Award is 3 of them. And we have Infosys Prize winner, Professor Wagmare. And we have many, many fellows, starting from FRS to Indian various academies. FNAE is not added here, there are a couple of them. And JC Bose fellows and also Swarna Jayanti fellows, many of them. And we also produce excellent alumni, I think. So there are a couple of them, I think they are with Ashok also in IIT Delhi. So many IITs, IISers have absorbed our alumni after, of course, postdoctoral training. And some of them have been absorbed in abroad universities as well. One of my students is the University of Manchester, 2 of them in UK, 1 in Manchester. And there are people in Texas, Nebraska, Miami, various places. Even I think RMIT and all. So some more names are there. I have not really put down all the names. And they also hold very eminent positions in these industries. GE Bangalore has our person, and St. Gobain in Chennai R&D, they have our person. And this list goes on actually. I just give you some examples. So these are how our alumni are doing. And these are some photographs of our people receiving. You can see my young colleague, Professor Govindaraju, receiving this CDRI award, drug discovery. It was given away by my another colleague, Professor Tapas Kundu, happened to be the director of this place. He has now come back to JNC after the term, and so he's handing over the award. And Infosys prize being received by Professor Umesh Wagner. Likewise, I can crowd the whole, all the slides with lots of very beautiful photographs like this, but I will not do that. I just mentioned to you that we have such many celebrities among us. And I also should mention that DST carried out a study. So I think they asked institutions to give information, and JNC did give under this. They had asked us to fill up a template how our young scientists are doing under 50, age under 50, how your scientists are doing. So there was a template to fill in. We all filled in, sent out. I think I'm sure IITs and other places also must have done it. And they selected 75 of them going by the profile. And what I'm proud about is 7 of our scientists, made it to the list. You can see it is a collection of list and the individual photographs are shown. So you can imagine that our faculty are doing quite a competitive research. Student awards, in fact, the list is very long. I just mentioned a couple of them on top of the list. INSA Medal for Young Scientists and BIRAC, SPSTI, Gandhi and Young Technological Innovation Award. It goes on, DST Avsar Award, so many of them. These are all innovation related awards, likewise. NASI Young Scientists, you can see. Newton Baba Fellowship, they routinely get this fellowship. So these are like our students also get recognized based on their own research. And we have in every conference, every event, actually, we have poster sessions posted there so that our students get to interact with eminent people who are visiting. In this case, this is Honorable Vice President of India who was coming around looking at our activities, and the student is interacting with the Honorable Vice President. And this was just before unveiling a foundation stone for our innovation center. And we have many amenities established on campus, maybe limited to some extent, but I think they are serving their purpose. including a little daycare unit and good library and small gym associated with the hostel. We will be coming up with a sports complex. Planning has been done. So I think in the next 5-6 months, the construction activity should begin. So that also will get augmented. And we have a small clinic to take care of health issues on campus. They played a very important role during COVID times. And you can see the ambience again. We have these sit-out areas make all the difference. I feel that a lot of activities, a lot of discussions, meaningful engagements happen. In this kind of semi-formal or informal areas, including a sit-out area outside the dining hall. A lot of people eat lunch and get to interact. I think that all end of the day contributes to what kind of scientific activity we carry out and also the research output what we bring. I think I am almost coming to the close. Just that I want to point out what would be our next direction. The way Professor Rao has laid the track, looks like we are not really aiming to become a very big institution or university. If JNC can get doubled in the next 10 years, 5-7 years, 10 years, in terms of the faculty strength, today we are 45. I wish we were at 60, 65, so that we'll be reaching around 75. 75 should be the limit for this campus, for this infrastructure, and also for this particular concept on which it is built. And we should be practicing the upcoming areas like synthetic biology and many areas related to artificial intelligence, data analytics, right? And there are many such, including not only looking for new materials, how to do material integrations, new processes, integrate them so that new type of technology emerges, material-based technology emerges. In contrast to one Newman kind of architecture, are there such possibilities? So these are the things we should be really looking out to do in the near future. So I think this is about JNC, but I must mention in the last 1 minute, it is not about we serving ourselves. We actually stretch ourselves to serve the country. So we connect ourselves with the Department of Science and Technology, also in ministry, they entrust on us, DST entrusts on us some national mission programs. And here we are hosting a couple of synchrotron programs. In fact, Professor Rao through Nano Mission signed up agreements with various important synchrotron facilities across the globe, and many are still live. And DST actually sends the funds, and we have a mechanism how we allocate the funds to various people who apply, and there's a mechanism of review and lining up with various synchrotron centers globally. Okay, so the very important places like Petra 3 in Germany, KEK in Japan, RAL in UK, so on and so forth. And there was also a program which just concluded, but again we have proposed for the next phase. That is like you can go to any synchrotron around the globe and carry out the activity. So it's up to people to choose which synchrotron they want to go, which beamline they want to use, what kind of research they want to do. They will be the authors. JNC has nothing to do with that. We just have a mechanism here coordinating with the DST to give away those projects, project funds, and which includes travel and planning of experiments and all that, which also includes student travel. Students get exposed to synchrotron works globally, and that is something as a service JNC is doing, joining DST. And we also host these nanoscience and technology fellowships, and here also we are just coordinating the programs. And another important leg of our activities is National Supercomputing Mission. And under that, NSM Center has come up in JNC. And this is jointly with CDAC. And so MIT and DST together granted funds to build a supercomputer facility at JNC. And CDAC took the responsibility of building it up and also hosting it for 3 years. Hosting in the sense running of it and technically looking after it and all. So that period is almost coming to a close. We should be now looking at what to do next. But in the last 3 years, I must say that it has done excellent activities. You can see this particular supercomputing facility is made available to researchers across India. I think IISc also played a great role in terms of giving away the funds. I think they had a kitty through which actually they can give away small projects to people who applied through the review process, through selection and all that. So I think there are some synergy among these three, IISc, JNC and CDAC. And this has been a vibrant activity hosted on JNC campus. And one of my colleagues, Professor Shastri, is coordinating this activity. This is also in the form of service. Of course, we also get benefited from these services. And so I must close here again, showing you some beautiful pictures. These are truly from our campus and not from anywhere outside. I didn't go to Lal Bagh or Kaban Park in Bangalore to capture these pictures. These are from our campus. So thank you very much for your attention. And I think there is a small question and answer session. If any doubts, anything, I'll be happy to clarify. Thank you. Shall I stop? Sir, shall I stop sharing the slides, or you want to still keep the slides on?
I think you keep it on so that but with all
very beautiful, soothing to the eye.
Okay. Yes, it is.
And wonderful account.
It's a mesmerizing talk, and I wish there were more students in our audience. And I hope there are some students on Facebook. So this is typically the kind of material which students, even postdocs, even younger faculty should be interested in, particularly.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. My first impression is that you are comparable to Indian Institute of Advanced Study, Princeton. And someday, I'm sure you would be. The second is that I personally, I knew that there is some center and Professor Rao is steering it along with all of you. But I did not know that it has grown so much. And we should be proud of it. And Professor Grover would be able to dwell more on it, whether our students from this region are trying to take advantage of this facility. But truly, you must promote student internship from all regions. You can fix a quota that from north, from south, for east and west, so that you have, you train a lot of people from across the country.
May I respond? So, yes, of course. I mean, we don't say it in the call, but when the committee sits to finalize, we do pay due attention to regional balance in terms of shortlisting candidates for our outreach programs, and to some extent even in degree programs as well.
Okay, that is very good. It's an excellent decision that you people have taken.
Thank you.
Grover Sahab, do you think we can conduct this kind of a lecture, especially for students of Punjab University, IISr and other colleges in this region? Bring them together and hold a session with Professor Kulkarni?
Yeah, sure, it can be done.
We can have one special, we can have one program. Maybe Ashok also can help us in the logistics.
No, the better thing would be to invite Professor Kulkarni to one of our institutions. Let him come and give a foundation day talk at either at IISr Mohali or INST or IIT Ropar or some such thing. And then we get the young people together. After all, we had invited Ajay Sood on 23rd of December 2021 at INST, and students from so many institutions were got together in this new hall of INST. So INST is an institution which is a DST institution, 30 acres of land attached to the IISr Mohali, exactly like JNCASR was started. So let Professor Kulkarni be invited to Mohali and have the students listen to him in that ambience, and that is what will tell them what can be done in our region. Okay, it's not that so many things which happen in Bangalore, a large part of them could be emulated in the knowledge city Mohali. Okay, so it is the enthusiasm of people to come together and work for a cause. Of course, we don't have a Professor Rao to polarize everyone, but a person is needed, but more than the person, concepts are also needed.
That's right. Yeah.
Professor Rao belongs to all of us. Professor Rao has given 6 public lectures over a period of 3 years when Ashok Ganguly was director at this thing. So, I mean, Professor Rao is known to us, and let somebody like Professor Kulkarni come and tell us, let this lecture be given in a forum and amongst people to whom it will act as a galvanizing thing.
No issue. I mean, I certainly have a lot of pleasure coming over that side, and I'm in touch with Professor Amito Patra, Director IISc.
Yeah. So I mean,
it would be a pleasure to do together.
So I would like to have you come there and be present there and sort of advertise it and get the community there to listen to you.
Sure.
I mean, my point is that it's not that we can run also this summer programs. We had thought of running these programs. I was trying to put in Professor KP Singh and few others. The pandemic came, otherwise we were planning to have a summer program for Chandigarh Mohali institutions conducted from IISr Mohali, in which everybody is connected. Okay, so we have people coming from outside our region to this place, but we also get half the people from our own region to work with the people who are coming from outside. So we organize a program. Half the audience is our local audience. Other half audience is audience from all over the country. So this is the way to run it. It doesn't require that much of money, but it does require, somebody should take that responsibility. If the director IISr and the director INSC and the director IIT Ropar and the director NABI and the director NIPER and the director SCL, these are institutions within 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, half an hour of journey of each other. The whole purpose of creating Chandigarh Region Innovation and Knowledge and Cluster was to have a platform. People subscribing to this platform should come together and try to do something which has not been done in India, or at least emulate something which is being done very well at elsewhere in India by our own colleagues. But it's still not late. We have everything in place. Pandemic is over. Okay, and let's get restarted all over again.
Thank you. Anuj, is there any question or comment on Facebook streaming? Dr. Rajendra Singh wants to say something. Please unmute yourself. Unmute करिए.
सत्यमूर्ति जी से भी पूछ लो.
सत्यमूर्ति जी ने एक comment डाला है. Very good lecture. That is comment from all of us. Rajendra Singh, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, Professor Kulkarni, thank you very much for the lectures. So I learned something new today. I was not aware of it. Now I have 2 small questions. You told that your institution is cooperating with industry. You also showed the graphic there. Now my question is, how much part of the budget come from the industry and how much from the government of India? The second question is, you have also shown there are many who have done PhD, there are excellent scientists. You also showed one slide with one discovery. My question, how many discoveries or inventions were made at your institution in the last 20 years? Thank you very much.
The first question related to the grant and funds.
Yes.
Now it's a public information. Our annual report is available everywhere. But just to give you some idea, we get the core grant from DST because we are a society by nature, but it's a government of India institution. So DST runs the place. So we get our core grant with which we give away salary to staff people plus outsourcing agencies we maintain. So scientists and staff derive their salary through the core grant. Now, what we do with industry work and technology transfer, that all adds to our campus development, innovation development fund. That's a separate kitty there. So it all adds to that. So how to do, what to do with that fund is a matter of council. So they take the call on how to utilize that fund to take forward our facilities, building more infrastructure and all that. So the regular core grant comes only from the government of India. I hope I answered your first question.
Yes, sir.
So the second one is, so in the last 20 years, I had put out some numbers in one of the slides. In last 5 years, how many patents we have, how many MOUs we signed, how much technology transfer we did, then how many startups. So I had one slide. So actually, first 10 years, you can't expect much, right? So whatever IP, in fact, IP registry, going for a patent, this activity started almost at the end of 10th year of JNC, okay? And then it grew. So in the last 7-8 years, I must say, we are quite active in patenting and also looking forward to technology transfer and cash out of industries, getting their attention to work together, all that. It's only more recent activity in the last 7-8 years. Last 5 years data I had on one slide. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I can see Professor Dua has raised hand. So Professor Dua, please go ahead with your question or comment.
Good morning, everybody. Professor Kulkarni, the common factor is that it's a wonderful lecture, and I so agree. Now, my point is that in the last 3 months in UK, I have seen that every priority in research university, which are about 20 in this country also, they have shifted their priority to artificial intelligence. And in the next 10 years or so, you have said that artificial intelligence may be introduced, but it has become the thrust area. And may I request you to give this as a priority to keep up with the rest of the world? The second part is that you mentioned about evolutionary biology, which is my field. And in Cambridge and other universities where I have been around for the last 3 months and 15 years, there is no mention of your place in any of the projects here. So what I propose, what I suggest, that you inspire your scientists to come up with some collaborative work with those universities who have done a very, very significant work in that field. In Cambridge also, the School of Evolutionary Molecular Biology is probably one of the best. And they mention about 62 institutions which have contributed to their work. But yes, this week when I heard about your lecture and saw its outline, I couldn't find the name of this institute. So that is because we are not collaborating with other highly esteemed universities like Munich University, Cambridge University, or University of Toronto, which are the thrust, which are developing the thrust area of this area. So please inspire your institution staff. They are very well identified, recognized, to open up for the international grant also. In fact, I'm told that $200,000 US dollars left unpaid for collaborative work from the University of Toronto this year. Any comment, please? Thank you.
Professor Dua, I'll take the second question first. I would like to ask you, this Cambridge place you mentioned on the evolutionary biology, how many practicing scientists are there?
21.
21. So I'm very sorry to say that in our evolutionary biology related activity, we have only 2. Very unfortunate, truly subcritical. And so whatever they are doing, they are also publishing in very reputed journals, including Science. But only thing is the extent of activity, amount of activity, and sub areas being practiced, there we suffer because of lack of faculty. And so that concern I have already expressed in the beginning itself. We need to be recruiting more and more. Positions should be made available to this kind of institutions more and more, and then we'll be able to recruit. And once we have sort of a strength in that section, in that unit, then we can expect many more areas being practiced, and also international linking and all that. So this has been one of the sort of big pain in all our minds that we are not been able to grow. So this is one of the constraints.
Professor Kulkarni, let me interrupt. Rockefeller Foundation from Rockefeller University, they have proposed a special grant under evolutionary biology to keep the biodiversity open, with an open grant to any university which comes up with the project proposal or with the film. And I'm one of the recipients of that one. So what I mean to say, that opening out to the rest of the scientific world is another way to bring your institution at the global level. Very nicely, you have projected your place to the rest of the country, to the rest of the scientists also in a beautiful way. But if it's projected at the still higher level, I think your contribution will be immense.
Sure. No, thank you for your inputs. There is absolutely, this is a valuable suggestion. We'll take it forward. And may I address your first point on the AI? So we are actually having a lot of brainstorm within the institution. What in AI we could be doing? Actually, AI is quite broad. And as it is, we have people who are doing, deep learning programs, machine learning programs. So they are computationally, they're already quite active. And we also have at least 3 groups, making neuromorphic devices and their integration. So bits and pieces, that kind of activity has already started, and we are also putting out publications and patenting. Now, what would be the next level? And that's a bit risky path actually, because AI, even huge industries like IBM and also tread the path very carefully. Whatever they thought 10 years ago didn't come out as much. So AI is such a field, a bit slippery. So we have to plan out clearly. So such brainstorming things are going on. Soon we'll be doing some conference and workshops to gain more idea what we should be doing next. But otherwise, on individual basis, people have been practicing and publishing. That activity is already on. To strengthen this further, taking a clue from what you're saying, we must get together, similarly interested people and seek funds from various agencies, as you mentioned, and see how to take AI in a very aggressive way, and so that JNC name will be known in AI. Thank you. Thank you for saying.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Professor Ganguly, please, can we please have your comments?
Thank Kulkarni for giving this historical journey. Actually, I have been going to JNC from 1990s. Actually, 89 it was formed. And, one of the things I wanted to say that those who have been working in the area, especially of chemistry and physics of materials, the kind of conferences and discussion meetings in a very close-knit manner, which one could experience in JSC, is outstanding. I think the world's best people I have met in the discussion meetings and the winter schools held regularly at JNC. Even now, I think during the pandemic time also, the winter school was held on materials and also on superconductivity and things like that. You could meet people from Columbia, all Max Planck and all. So I think from students' point of view also, every time they would invite some speakers who are very distinguished, some young speakers, and some postdocs and some students. So this mix of, and the number would not be like huge. So the number would be that everybody would be sitting in the auditorium. Even one person misses, you will know somebody's outside. And that gives a great interaction. I think some of the best meetings I have enjoyed and interacted with people from all over the world is at JNC, especially the size where the group is around 100 people or even less, sometimes 50 people, including students. That gives you one-on-one interaction with the world's best in those areas. And I think I have been as a student, I have gone there. I think as a postdoc, I have gone there, and as a young faculty, and then as a senior faculty, I have seen all the changes. of JNC. Great place to be and wonderful, especially for the disciplines of chemistry and physics of materials. But though they have whatever numbers they have in other areas like fluid mechanics or say in biology, they are all exceptional faculty. Although the numbers probably are less in some areas. That goes, but I know very fluid engineering mechanics unit. So great place and wonderful. And Professor Kulkarni is now leading after several senior members, and he's ahead in the show, and I wish him all the best. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Ashok, for compliments and for your wishes. Thanks a lot.
So back to Kia.
Thank you, Professor Ganguly. And if there are, Mahipal, can you please check if there is anything on Facebook? Otherwise, we ask DharamVir to say a few words of thanks.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yeah. Yes, Sathyamurthy ji, please boliye.
Professor Kulkarni, it's a wonderful, wonderful lecture overview. Since I have been associated with JNC almost from the beginning, I didn't want to, I have nothing to say more than what you have done. You have done beautifully. I have one concern as a follow-up of the question that has been raised and your response. Science is a continuing endeavor. Building faculty is a continuous process. I'm not addressing it to Giridhar Kulkarni, President JNC. I'm expressing a concern in public. If you means, I don't mean JNC only, any institution in the country cannot recruit faculty scientists for years. You have stopped the evolution of the institute. We know the retirement profile. At any time, if the average age of the faculty is 45, we have to keep on adding. I know this from IIT Kanpur, I know this from IISr Mohali. I hope from your position, you will be able to convince DST to give you additional position so that you will be able to continuously recruit faculty. Even you are two people in evolutionary biology. One is, close to retirement, depends on how you call it, retirement age. Other one is also not so young anymore. So unless you recruit people, add at least one person per department per year, the institute will not be able to grow. So this is not actually a question addressed to you, but this is a concern I have. I'm sure Arun Grover understands this. I'm sure everybody in this group, Ashok Ganguly is a deputy director, and Arun had occupied the vice chancellor position for 2 terms. Particularly last 2 years, situation is really, really bad. We have not, many institutions simply are not able to recruit. And this is, let me stop there and leave it at that. Thank you. Thank you to SPSTI for letting me air this concern.
You are SPSTI, okay?
You are
I understand, but even when I say it, I have to take my colleagues into confidence. And so, well, all right, let me say this, Giridhar, whatever I have said is on my behalf and on behalf of SPSTI, okay?
Sure.
Thank you, Professor Sathyamurthy, for your concern. In fact, I lose sleep over this, So I may have approached DST government many times, and there is some constructive work going on. I mean, I shouldn't say that nothing is happening. And if things come through the way things are being planned now, we all should be given some positions to grow. We should be able to recruit.
Yeah, let us keep our fingers crossed. All the best.
Thank you. So now it is the turn of DharamVir to say a few words. of gratitude.
Second.
हाँ, Can साहब जरूर.
It is always at the end of the program. I must thank Professor Kulkarni for a picturesque view of JN Center for Science. And of course, I belong to IIT Kanpur. Professor Sathyamurthy, my colleague, and of course, it has been my pleasure to be colleague of Professor C.N.R. Rao for more than 20-25 years or so. And the kind of excellence which the center has performed, it is virtually a reflection of the academic excellence of Professor C.N.R. Rao. And the kind of performance in terms of, they have a very, I would say, teacher-taught ratio of about 1 to 10. And their performance in terms of producing PhDs, about 250 or so, is definitely excellent. And obviously, I wish Professor Kulkarni a very fruitful period for his director, for his presidentship at the center. My regards to Professor Kulkarni. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I request DharamVir to say a few words in closing.
Professor Kulkarni, Professor Venugopal, who is not here just now, I thank you on behalf of this society as well as on my behalf for such a fantastic lecture. I had visited one JNCAR during my visit, but I could not appreciate the kind of work that you are doing and you propose to do. So I must congratulate you and your team. Sometimes I feel very envious that such excellent centers don't come up in the north. Why? So not that I am envious that you are doing. As a patriot, I do think that you are making a valuable contribution to our country. But I do believe that it should be inclusive. Professor Grover, who has chaired the Punjab University for a long time, Professor Sathyamurthy, they would agree with me that we have yet to develop culture of nurturing science as compared to nurturing technology. Though they go hand in hand. But in the north, if you are studying in class 11 or 12 with science or biology, the natural corollary and public attention both are on doing BTech or doing MBBS. And Kota culture and Patna culture had added to this in the Hindi belt, especially. Bengal, if you go, people value education. Actually, I'm confronted my wife's family कि आपकी बीवी तो है PhD और आप डॉक्टर भी, आप तो simple हो MSc. So my rating in my in-laws family is lower than my wife in terms of academics. कई दफा कहते हैं कि तू PhD नहीं करा सकी अपने हस्बैंड को. तो मैं कभी-कभी महसूस करता हूँ मैं PhD कर लेता, कुछ तो इज्जत मेरी फैमिली में बनती. So I'm trying to say we should value people with knowledge. We should value.
DharamVir ji, sorry to interrupt. It is not too late. You can do a PhD now. On offline, we will discuss what is the subject should be. Okay.
Maybe Professor Sathyamurthy may be your guide.
Well, I don't think I need a PhD right now. I can do better job to this society to contribute in my own way, to run it, to strengthen it and make it more effective. But I'd like to thank Professor Kulkarni once again. And maybe at some point of time when these colleges are open and we are able to conduct lecture in physical mode. And Professor Sathyamurthy knows that we have been holding such lectures of such illustrious experts in the largest theatre, Tagore Theatre in Chandigarh. And whenever we have held lectures in Tagore Theatre, they have gone full and overflowing. So your lecture would really inspire the young minds, open up various opportunities for them to think about. So finally, I thank you very much, and I should say Jai Hind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Professor. Thank you all. Anuj, next wala dikha do. So we are going to flash the next lecture in this series. हमारा next lecture कब है?
Ma'am, is it visible, ma'am? Now I have shared my screen.
नहीं दिख रहा है, बोल दीजिए.
But go to the next slide and make it full screen. No, we are still in the past. Now we are ahead. Yeah. Now, are you sure that the photograph of Majumdar
That is not correct.
That's not correct.
Photograph is wrong.
Yeah, आप इसको उसका स्पेलिंग भी गलत है. आप इसको ठीक कर लीजिएगा.
He has picked it up from the net. The photograph is wrong.
Yes, I.
So ठीक है, suitable corrections.
nice.
Thanks for pointing it out. Otherwise, we would be running into a little bit of
Embarrassment. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ram Ramaswamy, I know him well. He's from IIT Kanpur.
Yeah, his face is fine. His name is fine.
Hello.
Okay, Professor Grover, Professor Sathyamurthy, and Dharamvir ji and Professor Kea. Should I leave now? Or
Yeah, please stay on. Just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
I think we'd like to talk with you about Delhi, that IIT business at Murthal, what you people are doing. And as far as I understand, we are not moving much on that.
So,
yeah, I can sign off, right?
Sathyamurthy ji, you can also stay on because you are familiar with the area.
नहीं, उसका उस जगह का पराठा तो अच्छा है. मुर्तल का.
Yeah, so this is about some collaboration, some proposed collaboration between Government of Haryana and IIT Delhi Sonipat campus.
So, ma'am, what the Associate Dean wanted and the CEO of Delhi cluster, they wanted now next step is some meeting with the Haryana government official. So that if you can plan, then our
we shall plan it, but it may not happen very soon.
No, but Ganguly ji, I had written to
Preetha.
I have written to Preetha that I want a note on what you want to do. The reason is that the government would like to see something in writing that they want, what kind of support you want from the state government. And we have discussed this. I've written to Preetha with a copy to you that send me a concept note. And I will talk to the Chief Secretary and even if required with the Chief Minister. The reason is that unless I have something in my hand, I cannot really work with them. And as you know, government works on papers.
No, so actually, what we got is what was told to us is that there is a plan and they want to have 3 centers in Haryana, and IIT Delhi will help form those 3 centers for the Haryana cluster. So, what is to be done next? I thought, or we all thought that it will come from Haryana side, that one meeting will be fixed. Because the CEO of Delhi cluster also asked me that what is to be done. So what I knew is from the letter that 3 places in Haryana were to be identified, which will be set up with some 10 crores each, and IIT Delhi cluster will be given 10 crores. This was only clear to us. But if there is anything else which you have mentioned,
No,
which I have not.
Professor Ganguly, I have not received any concept paper or any paper for that matter, just a minute, except getting the Haryana government work with on this area, on the Murthal campus that you have. I can say that I have no paper, despite my having written to Pritha, and I have endorsed a copy to you. When I talk to the chief secretary and others, they need some paper to work with. And then, so you have formed a drive which is working, and there is a cluster that has come up, which includes Murthal area as well. So we are excited about it. But you would also appreciate that some proposal has to come up.
Dharamvir, that proposal cannot come from IIT to start with.
No, but somebody has to.
It was.
But somebody, even if you don't have.
See, the point is that a meeting was to be set up between IIT Delhi and the Haryana. Now, the basis of that meeting was a communication to be sent to both the parties with a copy to the Haryana. Having that being done, the Haryana government was supposed to incorporate Professor Ganguly as a member of the council of the Haryana State Council. And Kia was also to be incorporated at that. After that, a meeting was to happen between someone representative of IIT Delhi and Haryana State Council. In the meanwhile, it turned out that there was already earlier an MOU between the IIT Delhi and the Department of Technical Education in Haryana. That piece of paper could not be accessed by us. Okay, so I had requested, so one is, if such a paper exists, then if it cannot be got from the Haryana State Council of Science and Technology, can that paper be procured from the IIT Delhi end? And that was to be made available to Ashok Khemka, and that was to get the move the matter for further of setting up a meeting between Professor Ashok Ganguly and Ashok Khemka, either in Chandigarh or at Murthal. Khemka had said that he would be willing to travel to IIT Delhi Sonipat campus. So this was the step which was to happen. IIT Delhi has point is the proposal that Haryana Council would be willing to support IIT Delhi cluster. It is a proposal from the Haryana people. How can the IIT Delhi move a paper on that? IIT Delhi cannot.
No, let me express my concern.
One thing, sir. Dharamvir ji, clarification. I think we are talking two things. One thing was that after our visit to Sonipat, interaction between whatever we had decided at some level, we will take it forward with the Murthal College and other technical to SPSTI. That was one thing in which probably what Dharamvir ji is saying, we can have a concept note sent to you, etc.
Yeah.
The other thing is what is later on was told to me about Haryana government setting up cluster, etc. So उस पे IIT दिल्ली में कुछ नहीं कह सकते. It has to come from Haryana.
No, let me make it clear, Ganguly ji. There are two things. I'm not talking about the cluster issue. I'm talking about the land that you have. You have huge setup at Murthal. How we can interact with the government in a structured fashion, and how we can make it a vibrant campus. My submission has been, I've written to both you and Prithaji that I need a small half-page, one-page note that so much of area, what is the focus of the institute, what kind of support you are looking from the state government, and what you intend doing, what you want. You see, the government would work on papers. If I have that note, I can push a meeting at the at various levels, including Chief Minister, including Chief Secretary, including the talking to science and technology will not work because the technical education will get involved. Higher education department, there are 3 departments which will get involved with you. Technical education, Department of Higher Education, Department of Science and Technology. And I've worked in all the 3 departments myself. And therefore I understand the dynamics. So I still don't have the quantum of land you have, kind of infrastructure you have made. At least somebody has to send it to me. And what is the focus of the IIT Delhi on this? You see, the government works on papers.
I think, Dharamvirji, that is what happened. I think what happened is this first part is okay. But the second thing came, and I think the associate dean got confused with the cluster thing and with this. But I think only the first part, if it is right, then
no, first part is right. Second, we are not concerned.
But I think Professor Grover, the second part came to us one mail that about the Haryana government wanting to put up.
Yeah, but that is what was discussed.
That is what
that is what Khemka proposed. Okay, it is not something that we have planted. In the last meeting that we had with Ashok Khemka, he said that Chief Minister wants this to happen, and he says 40 crore rupees is set aside. And he only proposed that they would be willing to do it, and so on.
Actually confused the whole thing. That's why I think the Associate Dean, Professor Pritha, did not send, because that one page we can send anytime, which was the original discussion that we can, train teachers, we can train students.
Professor Ganguly, if you see my mail, I've said it very clearly. We did not raise the issue of cluster at all in that.
No. वो तो आपको पहला था, but I think that later the second mail came, Professor Mr. Dharamvir.
No, I'm not talking about drive. I'm talking about the campus. No, I'm talking about only campus right now.
So we can discuss it later offline. Probably there is a confusion. I will ask.
No, I'm not interested. I'm not talking about drive. I'm talking of the Mursal campus.
Yeah, so I think confusion, though overlap ho gaya. So if we keep only the Sonipat campus issue, which we discussed initially, that is easy, and that we can send you one note. But what we thought is, because this mail also came to us about that 3 clusters to be formed in Haryana. So we thought clarity chahiye tha. So that is why they said, and that is why the CEO came in picture. I brought the CEO of Delhi cluster because I thought this, if the cluster thing has to be done, then should be done through the CEO. But if I understand now what you are saying is only the Sonipat campus, then we restrict to that and we take that other part separately later. So I'll ask Professor Pritha Chandra to send you 1-page concept note on what we will do in the Sonipat campus and with the facilities there.
Yes, it's a limited issue. And as such, I have no idea. I am not working with the Delhi cluster as such. I'm focused on the campus only.
Yeah, but the other mail came, I think Professor Grover wrote about the cluster from Haryana.
That is much later, Ashok.
So I think let us keep it separate. I will first ask the Associate Dean to send a concept note on what we had discussed, which can be done at the IIT Delhi Sonipat campus with Haryana technical teachers or engineering students and how things can be used. So I will send you that concept.
I'll be grateful for that. If you can send it, it will help us to dealing with the cluster and take it forward so far as the campus.
Later on, if Professor Grover thinks, then we can take it up later.
Boliye Grover Saab.
That we can discuss later.
Grover Saab.
The meeting has to be set up between Ashok Khemka and Ashok Ganguly. And soon enough, because Khemka was keen that it should be done soon, right? The only issue that he had was that if there is already an MOU existing between IIT Delhi and a government department of Haryana, they should know what that
Professor
MOU has
Grover,
been.
that MOU is with the with I think the higher technical education, something like that.
Can that MOU be accessed so that we can?
I think so. I can get it somewhere.
If you can get that MOU, because Khemka just wanted to have a look at it, because he would like, for the cluster thing to move, he has to move another MOU. So he needs the knowledge of the previous MOU before to move forward. And he himself has offered to meet you at IIT Sonipat campus. I did not, this proposal is not from us. All this is he uttered.
Okay, so let me send this concept note on the Sonipat thing, which we had discussed to Mr. DharamVir. And let me look at the MOU which IIT Delhi has with the Haryana. And then I can send you the extract of that. For the cluster thing to be, then something should come from the Haryana. And then we will involve the CEO of the Delhi cluster for the cluster thing. So the first part, we'll keep it separate.
Yes.
Yes, as you rightly pointed out, there are two issues. One is the campus, one is the cluster issue. Right now, we are not involved right now with the cluster. We are involved with the land issue. मुरथल में जो आपका कैंपस है, उसके बारे में एक स्पेशल अटेंशन देने की आवश्यकता है कि उसको कैसे इस्तेमाल किया जाए and how Haryana government can collaborate with you. Am I right?
I'll send you that. Yeah. Many things are already on the website on the Sonipat campus, but I'll give you a write-up.
You can send me the link. And what does it give?
Can be, link I'll send you. That is there.
No.
But
does it give? Sorry. Does it give what kind of facility you can offer to the startups? आपके पास इतने अच्छे वहाँ पे infrastructure बना है. You are expecting startups to come, other people to come. So if you can point out the facilities that you have and you are willing to offer to the prospective investors or those who want to set up their businesses there. So I suppose your note would give us that idea. That will excite the government. So much of work can be done there. Actually, to tell you very frankly, there is not much awareness about Sonipat campus within the government.
But we are actually already hosting several Haryana industries, automobile manufacturers, and many things are on the website of what all things can be used. But I'll send you that concept note after whichever points we had discussed. Okay.
I'm sorry that I am emphasizing on this. It may be a repetition, but then I need to go and talk to them.
Confusion happened because the two things we thought is one, but I think we have to keep the two things separately.
Right.
Okay.
So that will really facilitate us to be more focused.
Yeah.
So that is all. Any other thing that you would like me to intervene for?
No. I'll just say right now we'll send the concept note. That was actually already prepared, but probably this thing came up in between. After the meeting itself, because it's very easy. We are already collaborating with many people are working there. We have startups. We have Haryana-based manufacturers using those facilities. Already started.
Coming to the drive that the cluster has been set up, has any meeting taken place and you have discussed this aspect with the people who are participating in the cluster?
Yeah. We have more than 50 cluster entities, and we have many meetings, etc. with them.
So what is the decision you have taken for Murthal campus?
No. The cluster is Delhi cluster has nothing like a campus. Murthal campus, IIT Delhi main campus. We have IIIT Delhi, JNU. Everybody is involved in Delhi cluster. IIT Delhi is leading the Delhi cluster.
No, I'm saying in terms of promoting startups and industry in Murthal. So does the drive focus on it also?
Yeah, it is overall, because drive has a structure, it has board of directors, it has a lot of things. I'll send you the link to the website of drive.
ठीक है, ठीक है. Any other thing, Grover sir, you'd like to add? आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी.
You are muted.
Grover sir is muted.
At the moment, nothing more, but I am concerned that the meeting between the two Ashok should happen as early as it is possible.
No, we can, I think, let us think whatever is there.
Let's inquire from Mr. Gupta whether he has invited Ashok Ganguly to be a member of their council. Has KR received an invitation to be a member of the council?
No.
Not as yet.
No.
So then let me go back to Mr. Gupta and find out what happened to this, because I have been keeping him fully informed, Mr. Gupta. So I'll call him up and find out as to what happened. Whatever I sent to Ashok Ganguly, that is all in the knowledge of Mr. Gupta.
I think maybe Professor Grover, you can forward that mail to Mr. DharamVir. He has seen that mail.
Yeah, he would have seen, because it's forwarded to KR is aware what I wrote to him.
Actually, I don't think I've seen that because the correspondence is going on with KR, so I am comfortable with it because she is directly dealing, and wherever she wants, she can consult me.
Okay, I think, Mr. Grover, let us break it into two parts. First, we send the concept note so that the first part we can start off. Professor Pritha had also discussed with Mr. DharamVir and all that. That part, I think we can start off for the concept.
And you would appreciate, it will really help me to negotiate with them.
Okay, sure.
And the government really works on papers eventually, so I have no choice. That is one. And second is, I would request, as soon as you think it is possible, we can hold a meeting of the directors of the engineering colleges and medical colleges at your campus. And we can have half a day session. That would also...
That can be planned through the Dean outreach.
Yes. So this will really help. And you have a lot of private universities around Delhi and Haryana, and also in Ghaziabad, in UP area, Noida.
Mr. DharamVir, I think in the concept note, I will ask Dr. Pritha to put all those things so that they can be taken action.
So I'm looking at more of marketing strategy right now. And as I said, that I would, if I were there, I would have invited vice chancellors of the region and invited them or sending their senior representatives so that they have a look and they also feel that they can take advantage of your facility.
We have actually in the concept note, if I remember, we had written we will have an outreach day and then we will invite. All that was there. So
all that we had discussed that.
Yeah. So let us put that paper. It is in the minutes, but maybe if you want like a concept paper, it should be a little different than the minutes of the meeting.
That's right. Because that will form agenda for discussion with them.
Okay, I think let me talk with Professor Pritha Chandra and then I'll get back. Okay. All right, Professor Grover.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Grover.